Hello, my name's Louise Allan and I'm a geriatrician, which means that I specialise in healthcare for older people. I have particular interests, both clinically and in research, in dementia, but also delirium.
So what is delirium for people who maybe have only read this word in books?
Okay, so delirium is something that's been recognised for thousands of years, and you will have heard about it in historical books. Essentially, what it is a condition that comes on when people are unwell due to a physical illness, such as an infection, or it could be constipation or a change in medications. And what happens is the person becomes more confused. So for a person with dementia, there can be a sudden change in the things that they're able to do. So something they were able to do yesterday, they're not able to do today. It does fluctuate quite a lot, so it can go up and down, sometimes minute by minute or hour by hour. And the person can seem to be better 1 minute than the next. It causes people to be less alert on some occasions, so sometimes they can seem quite sleepy. But at other times, people can become more alert, so quite agitated and overactive, and sometimes getting up and about and seeming agitated.
So some of the symptoms that you mentioned there sound like they could be quite easily mistaken for a change due to dementia, like being more confused. So do carers ever think it's more dementia and not necessarily recognise the delirium aspect?
Yes, so people can sometimes put down an increase in confusion to someone having dementia. And sometimes when someone hasn't been diagnosed with dementia previously, then people can think it's the first signs of dementia. But the key to telling the difference between the two is the speed at which it comes on and the fact that it goes up and down. And also the fact that people tend not to be as alert as they usually are, which is not a feature of dementia. Also, there can be other signs coming on which may not have happened before, such as having delusions, sort of thinking that they're somewhere else or that people are trying to harm them, or having hallucinations. Hallucinations can occur in dementia, but if they're coming on quite suddenly and are quite intense, then that can be a sign of delirium and it's worth checking it out.
If you've noticed the signs of delirium, what should you do about it?
Well, it's important to seek medical attention because what needs to be done is checking out what all the possible causes are of the delirium. So, for instance, examining someone's chest to see if they've got a chest infection, or sending off a urine sample to see if there's any infection in the urine. Also checking to see if someone's constipated, and also a review of the person's medication to see if there might be any medications that have caused the person to get delirium. But as well as consulting a doctor, there are other things that you can do to try and help delirium. So keeping a routine is important, keeping people in the daylight during the day and then reducing light at night, because sometimes sleep disturbance is a problem. Avoiding caffeinated drinks at night, which may disturb sleep. And then basic things like making sure the person's got their glasses and their hearing aid so that they can see and hear well. And then keeping on reorientating the person to where they are, reassuring them that they're either at home or safely in hospital if that's where they are, and that people are looking after them.
Is hydration important?
Yes, both hydration and nutrition are important for delirium. So making sure that somebody is getting regular drinks throughout the day is very important.
What has the pandemic done in terms of changing things for delirium? Has there been any effect?
Yes, so it's important to realise that delirium can be a common presenting symptom of COVID. So when people come into hospital with COVID, a quarter of them will have delirium, and up to a third will develop delirium while they're in hospital. And it can be more difficult to provide the nursing care that we want with reorientating the person. We normally like to have families visiting regularly in hospital, helping to keep the person knowing where they are. And that's not so easy during COVID. So if possible, do try and use any remote means of contact, such as iPads or FaceTime or that sort of thing, to keep in touch with the person you love while they're in hospital with COVID.
So it sounds like when recovering from an episode of delirium, your family and your social circle can have a really positive impact in helping you recover.
Yes. So there has been a campaign called John's Campaign, which is about people who care for someone with dementia, so family members or friends, being allowed to come into hospital and help provide personal care. It's also just a reassuring presence for that person while they're in hospital. And that's really important for delirium care.
What is your research about? I know you're working particularly on delirium and dementia at the moment.
Okay, so what we know is that people do usually recover reasonably quickly from delirium, but not everybody does. So what we want to do is to help people recover better after delirium. And next year, we're going to be starting a big program of research into this, where we're going to design a rehabilitation package of care, which will include physical activities, activities that are mentally stimulating, and also emotional support, because delirium can be quite distressing.
What sort of message would you like people to take away right now if they're living with dementia?
Yeah, so the important thing to do is, well, delirium can be prevented by keeping a good routine and providing nursing care when the person's in hospital. It's also a good routine at home with things like glasses and hearing aids, and trying to keep a good sleep routine. But do watch out for the signs, because if you seek medical attention, you can have treatment for the cause of the delirium, which will hopefully make things improve.